exclusive home of the defending Lone Star Conference champions, KSTV, the Mighty 93. Coming up, a recap of last week's games, a preview of upcoming opponents, and much more. Now, let's send it to the lobby of Bruner Dodge and join the voice of the Texans, Casey Hogan, who's alongside the 25th year head coach of the Tarleton Texans, Lonn Reisman.
And good afternoon, everyone, from the lobby of Bruner Dodge on the corner of the South Loop and US 281 in Stephenville. Make sure you stop by. Plenty of free food courtesy of Cotton Patch Cafe. We've got refreshments and giveaways later in the half hour. We're going to bring back the life-size dice once again. So if you come out to the show and your name's drawn, you could roll the dice, possibly win an oil change, Tarleton Athletic here at Car Wash. You could even win a car courtesy of Mr. Greg Bruner himself. And no one's won the car yet, Coach, so we'll see.
Roll the dice.
Lunch with Lonn, sponsored by Bruner Motors. We thank them for their support in making this show possible. Coach, good afternoon. Congratulations on an outstanding week for your basketball team.
Well, thanks, Casey. It was a good week for us. We were starting to get a little bit better, and hopefully we're just going to continue this momentum and take it a game at a time. We have 9 games left on the year, as you know. 5 at home, 4 on the road. They're all conference games. We're kind of in the mix of the conference. It's hard to believe we're just 2 games out of second place right now with Carter Ward getting beat last night by Midwestern. And so there's a lot of games to be played, and there's a lot of shuffling to be done before this thing's all played out through at the end of the month.
So let's talk about this past week, recap the games. It started on Saturday. You traveled to East Texas to take on an 11-7 Texas A&M-Commerce squad. The Lions 6-1 at home this year. And Coach, your team entered the matchup 0-4 on the road this season, but you would find a way to win this game 70-61. How important was it for your team to get this win on the road, this first win on the road for their confidence?
Well, you know, we really needed to win a road game, Casey. We had been in so many games on the road and had big leads on the road. You know, we had a 15-point lead at Eastern New Mexico, a 13-point at Angelo State, and then we finally went on the road and played actually a team that had really been playing well at home, 6-1, and only lost 1 home game all year. And we knew it was going to be a very tough ball game, and it was the first half. They got off to a pretty good start on us. Our kids regrouped, went into halftime right where we want to be, and on the road, right in the ball game, and then was able to come out the second half and really play well in stretches, and was able to pull out a win.
Now, the announced crowd was 863, but Coach, I thought you had to give Tarleton fans a lot of credit. There had to be at least 150 Tarleton fans in the field house.
We had a great crowd from Tarleton there to be at the ball game and to cheer the Texans and Texans on, and it's always great to look up there and see a lot of purple behind your bench. There's no doubt about that. And we've always taken a great crowd to Commerce, and it's a type of game over there, Casey, where 2 teams are really trying to position themselves, and it was a big game for us because we just needed to go on the road and get a road win, as you said. And of course, they're trying to defend their home floor, and then of course, we got to meet them again this week in a rematch, which makes it even tougher.
Yeah, this game was part of the Lone Star Conference's rivalry week, so these 2 teams will face each other twice in a week, so a little bit different of a format this week. We'll wait and talk more about Commerce in our 3rd segment as we preview Saturday's game. Let's go ahead and get right into the win on Wednesday night over McMurry at Wisdom Gymnasium, a game you won 65-52. Coach, McMurry entered the game winners of 7 of 9. They're 3-0 against the Lone Star Conference. You must have felt that this game would be a big challenge for your team.
Well, we did. We knew that they were very good. They had already beaten Cameron by 20, and they've already beaten Kingsville by 15 or 16, and they'd beaten Carter Ward, which tied for leading our conference at that time. And so they were 3-0. They're on a roll, and watched some film on them, and they're really a disciplined team. They're very well coached. I knew it was just going to be a tremendous challenge for us, and we were right. I mean, the score is not indicative of how close that game was. We didn't break that open until really, really late. But I was really impressed with them. I was impressed with their kids. I thought their kids had a lot of high character, and I like playing high character kids because it tests our kids' character too. Because those are 2 teams that are just battling it out, running that shot clock and running their offense, and we were able to do a couple of things against them that nobody else has been able to do very much, Casey. Out of 16 games, they had won the rebounding battle 15 times, and we out-rebounded them, number 1. And I believe that's our 4th game in a row we've won the rebounding battle, which is very important. And then the second thing was, Casey, is that they hadn't shot below 40% only twice or 3 times this year, and we were able to hold them to 39%. So two big things that we needed to do.
And Coach, you hold them to 52 points. That was their 2nd lowest point total of the season.
Yeah, and I didn't even realize that. I looked at that the other day, and that was big. So I mean, it was a knockdown, drag out type of game that just very close, and then 2 teams playing very hard.
This is your team's third consecutive win, and earlier this season we talked a lot about the Achilles heel of this team, not being able to finish games when you had a lead.
Yes.
That's changed the last couple of games. You had a 17-2 run in the Commerce game, a 9-0 run against McMurry, and it looks like this team is learning how to finish.
Well, I think we are. I think we're finally coming together, and we're starting to get some good chemistry on the floor, and we're looking at the certain rotations that we want to have on the floor when we're ahead. And I think that you have to experience some tough times sometimes and make some tough decisions. And I think that we're finally putting that together, and hopefully we're improving. My main thing of all along, Casey, when we were struggling, is how do we make this team improve, and can we see improvement in our basketball team? And there's no way that you're going to beat Commerce on the road, you're going to beat McMurry with the team they have, unless you are improving your team. And right now our team is improving. Does that translate into continuing to win a game? The time will tell. I told the other guys the other day that we have 9 games left. We've seen everybody the first round of this of the top conference and schedule, and everybody's capable of beating everybody. There's not a team that we don't respect. We respect every team we're going to play. Is there a team that I just feel like can come in and just and manhandle us? No, and I don't feel like we can manhandle anybody. So now it just gets down to the grind. Who can win the tough games? Who can do the little things in games to continually build the momentum towards the end of the year? Can we peak at the right time? It is February 1st. When this time of the year comes, you want your team playing, improving, and I think our team is improving. Now can we make our team improve to the point where we start to peak?
And you talked about improving defensively. I think it seems like you're improving offensively. You've faced 2 of the best scoring defenses in the nation in the last 3 games. Number 1 in the Lone Star Conference, West Texas. Number 1 in the Heartland Conference, McMurry. You scored 65 points on both of those squads.
Yeah, I think that we know our and we're shooting a little better percentage. We shot over 50% against West Texas, and then we shot almost 46 or 47% on McMurray the other night. And that's an improvement. We got to keep doing that. And so, if we can just continue to do that, we finally moved into top 9 in the nation defensively. I think we're in the top 9 in the nation, and we came from like 25th or 26th all the way into the top 10 now. And can we get into the top 5 and continue to improve our defense? And the big thing is, can we continue to rebound the basketball like we are?
John and Kathy Macklin had a big night on Wednesday night, 17 points and 11 boards, both of which were career highs. And John looked comfortable not only getting to the rim, but you saw him go to the free throw line and shoot that short jumper. He looked pretty comfortable there.
Well, we have been working with John a lot. Coach Chris has been working with him down into the low post area and really working on his moves, and you can see him starting to get a little bit more fluid and taking a deep breath before he just tries to do something too quick, and that's improved. TD Harold has been working with him on his free throws. He was a great shooter for us, and he's done a marvelous job working with him every day on his free throws, and you can see that improving from the start of the year and getting him into the right positions and the right fundamentals of redoing his shot some, and that's improved a lot. And then we've always thought that he could rebound the basketball, and now finally he's starting to do that.
A great crowd at Wisdom Gymnasium. Not the biggest crowd of the season, only with 1 game, but probably the loudest crowd.
It was a great crowd. We were very, very, very fortunate to have so many people out, and the ones that were there saw a heck of a game because McMurray is a very, very good team, and we're going to continue to play them in the next few years, and they do a great job. And I think they're just an hour and a half from here, and McMurray used to be a pretty good rivalry for us through all the years. And so we're looking forward to establishing that relationship with McMurray University again.
This is the first time that you've played them in 17 years. It's hard to believe, huh?
Yeah, they were Division III, and so we didn't have a chance to play them. And then last year they went to Division II, and they went to a scholarship level of athletics, and they're in the Heartland Conference right now. And you can see that they have some very good scholarship players on their team right now, and they're advancing their programs to another level right now, and working in that aspect of getting very competitive. I'll tell you, they're very competitive in the Heartland Conference. They can play in this conference also, and we look for a good relationship with McMurray in the future.
With the 9-point win over McMurray, the Tarleton Texans improved to 7-0 at home all-time against the Warhawks under head coach Lonn Reisman. Most importantly, they moved to 11-6 on the season. We'll take a 1-minute break. When we return, local product and true freshman Jakob Domster will join the broadcast for our Texan Player Spotlight when Lunch with Lonn continues on the Tarleton Athletic KSTV Radio Network. Welcome back to Lunch with Lonn. I'm your host, Casey Hope. Time now for our Texan Player Spotlight. As this week we're joined by the Dutchman from Dublin. That's what we turned you on the radio, by the way. Jakob Domster, the true freshman. Let's welcome Jakob to the show. Good to see you, partner.
How you guys doing?
Doing all right, man. Let me move your... we had a problem last week. We had Chuck Guy here, and Chuck's microphone was like near his eyes, so I had to move it down. So we'll fix. Jakob, you're raised just down the road in Dublin, so I'm guessing the adjustment to living in Stephenville hasn't been too tough for you. It's not like you're John Cathy Macklin moving from Milwaukee to Stephenville.
I mean, it's been easy. Like when I moved here, I mean, it probably took like 30 minutes to move in to the apartment. It was really easy, but like, I mean, I'm used to this town, so I know what's going on. I know the people around here, so it's really nice.
I know when we were heading to Angelo State for the first road game of the year, we went through Dublin, and I guess a lot of your teammates, we were on the bus, a lot of your teammates had probably never seen Dublin before, and I heard you in the back of the bus say, "This is my hometown."
Yeah.
You got Chuck and some of these guys from big cities saying, that was your hometown?
Yeah, we passed through there in like 2 minutes, and like, I mean, it was weird just passing through it and not stopping by, because every time I go to Dublin, I stop by and talk to people. But like, I mean, a lot of people are like, "This is where you're from. This is like a small town." I mean, this is a little different, but like, it's kind of nice being from a small town.
Not only being from a small town, you're raised on a dairy, and I know from personal experience that dairy farmers are some of the toughest and hardest workers you'll find anywhere in the country. Has that made you a better and tougher basketball player?
Well, I learned mostly from my dad. My dad is probably the hardest working person I've ever known. I mean, he was on the dairy, if not, like, he's probably on the dairy 12 hours of the day. I mean, a lot of times we wouldn't even eat dinner with him because he was on the dairy working, and I really learned from him with his work ethic, and I mean, I've put that in my work ethic, and it's made me a better person.
I got to ask you a question. You have to be honest. What's tougher, a grueling, intense practice with Lonn Reisman or waking up at 4 a.m. to milk cows?
That's a tough question.
I thought you would say milking cows, but I can't put words in it.
Well, waking up early is probably hard, but Coach Reisman's practices are pretty hard too. I mean, cows, all you gotta do is stand there and run the cow. Coach Reisman, you gotta run back and forth so many times.
Now, at Dublin High School, you played under head coach Richard Pringle. You were named the district MVP your senior season. And at what point did you realize, hey, I might be good enough to play at the next level?
Well, my junior year, I was kind of looking forward to like seeing if I could play college ball, and then senior year, Coach Pringle was kind of helping me get to some schools. He told me to like fill in some recruiting forms, and I mean, towards the end of the season, like I started getting some like people watching me play, and like then it really hit me. You know, I could go to the next level. And then when probably my last high school game at the All-Star game, Coach Nick Cantrell was there, and after the game he talked to me, and knowing like being from Dublin, seeing Tarleton's success in the newspapers every year, I was really interested in coming to Tarleton. So when it happened, I mean, I was blessed. I mean, I'm happy to be here at Tarleton.
Now, what's been the biggest difference from playing 2A high school ball and now playing Division II NCAA basketball?
The tempo of the game. That was a major adjustment for me, and I mean, right now it seems like I'm getting used to it. I'm still kind of adjusting, but the tempo of the game is so much quicker. I mean, during Christmas break, I went back to Dublin, like practice with the Dublin team, and I mean, it seemed like they were walking the whole practice. And here at Tarleton, you got to run everywhere, and they're just like walking around. So
now you get up and down the court pretty quick, Jakob. So now you're averaging 13 minutes per game in the past two contests, both of which obviously big wins over Commerce and then McMurry. Did you expect to see this much playing time in big games your first year?
Well, I mean, when I first came here, I heard I was going to get some playing time. I didn't know how much, and then first few games, Coach Reisman told me to be patient, keep working hard. So I just listened to him, and then when my opportunity came up, I mean, I took advantage of it.
Now, when you're playing games at Wisdom Gym and you look in the crowd, you have a pretty big fan club. I mean, they don't have to drive very far.
I guess so. I mean, my mom and dad are always there, which I'm happy about, and then I got a few friends that make it occasionally. So, I mean, if they're there, I'm happy, and I'm glad for their support.
I know you have a loyal fan base because when I was calling the game in Commerce, you and Carter were checking in. I accidentally said checking into the game, Jakob Domster, the true freshman from Duncanville. And I looked down at my phone 5 minutes later. I had 3 or 4 text messages and this call. One of them, and I won't say who it was from, said he's from Dublin, not Duncanville. So I know I got an earful. So your fans are listening to the games.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to like know that they're always there. They're supporting me. I mean, it's a huge deal for me.
Now your family is Dutch, and I just asked you. I didn't know if you were born. Obviously, you're born here in the United States.
Yes.
But when did your family come over from the Netherlands?
My mom and dad came here to America in 1990 for the dairy business. So.
And how many times have you tried? Have you been to the Netherlands to see your family?
Yes, I've been like 3 or 4 times, and this summer I think I'm going to go back for like 2 weeks. So.
You like it over there?
Yeah, it's beautiful over there. I mean, I love it there.
What's the food like? Dutch food.
Amazing. It's pretty good. Yes, it's really good.
Bring me back something when you go, please.
Okay.
Now, your name is spelled Jakob, but you pronounce it Jakob. What's the worst your name's been botched by a PA announcer in a gym?
Jacob Damstra.
I know I go up to the visiting radio guys and the PA announcers and I'll say, hey, you need any help with the names? And they'll always go, oh, no, we got them. And I go, okay, how do you pronounce number 42? They'll go, Jacob. And I'll go, no, Jakob. And it always turns them stuff.
I mean, the class, and when you go to the class, it's always like the teachers always have a difficult time at first, but towards the end of the semester, they're always like they're used to it about that.
Now, Coach Chris, I asked him yesterday, can we have Jakob on the show? He said, you can under one stipulation. You have to speak some Dutch.
Okay.
So what we're going to do here is we're short on time. We're going to let Jakob send it to break, and he's going to send it to break in Dutch by saying we'll be back in 1 minute on KSTV. So, Jakob, thanks for your time. Send us a break.
Thank you. Wenn wij kopwederom in 1 minuut lunch, maar Lonn, coach Reisman and Casey zullen naar de opkomwedstrijd komen. Dat is naar KSTV, de Mighty 93 luisteren.
Welcome back to Lunch with Lonn, live from the lobby of Bruder Dodge on the corner of the South Loop and US 281 in Stephenville. You just heard true freshman Jakob Damstra coming back from the break talking in Dutch. And Coach, anything you'd like to say in Dutch?
I don't know much Dutch, but I'd like to have about 5 more just like him because he is really a big surprise for me this year. He has worked very, very hard. You know, Casey, the big thing about him, he's a 4.0 GPA student, straight A's. And that young man got a great future academically for us. And, you know, he's a class act on the floor and off the floor. And I just like to know where he's going to be a year and a half from now. I mean, I already think he's growing. About 6'9.5" right now. He came in at just 200 pounds. He's 220 pounds right now. We're looking at him being 230 next year. And with his, you know, he's just got such a good mind and a good IQ of the game, and his work ethic is unparalleled. There's no telling where he'll be by the time he's due.
Well, and the reason I brought that up about, you know, him being raised on a dairy farm, you know, people in that industry, I mean, the work ethic, I mean, this kid's probably from a young age been working hard and been putting in 12, 14-hour days.
And it shows on the floor because there's no give up in his game. I can test a person pretty well in practice sometimes, and you know, he is full speed by the time he finishes to the time he leaves the gym, and then I like the time he puts in after the practice. You know, he's still working on all aspects of trying to get better, and you know, he's got a great future, and I hope that we can bring in some more freshmen like him because he's got a tremendous future.
The second half of Lone Star Conference action begins this week. Your first matchup tomorrow night as Texas A&M-Commerce comes to town. It's a 7 o'clock tip-off. The Lions 11-8 overall, tied with Tarleton for 7th place in the conference with 4 wins and 5 losses. Coach, you defeated Coach Walker's squad 6 days ago. You turn around, you face them twice in a week. Does that make it easier or tougher as a coach to prepare?
Well, I think it's about the same for both of us. I mean, we know the preparation because it's just recent. Now, you know, what is he going to do different because of the loss? And does he see what do we do different just because we won? I mean, we got to look at film and make sure we're getting better. You know, Sammy's team's going to come in here. They're always difficult to play. They're a very good basketball team. They played a very good schedule, and we'll have to play at a, you know, we have to play at a high level to win games. And that's just the way it is. We have to play at a high level. We'll have to play at a high level tomorrow night. It's a kind of game tomorrow night, Casey, where we have a chance to make a bigger step now. I mean, we have a chance to get ourselves back to 500 in this conference. We have a chance to win 12 games and be 12-6, put ourselves back in a position for some other possible postseason things. And that's a long ways off, don't get me wrong, but you know, we have to take one game at a time, and if we're able to win this game at home tomorrow night, and then you start seeing some things that can happen for our basketball team.
And you're exactly right. This game is so important because there is a logjam in the Lone Star Conference. Coach, I was looking at it this morning. Half a game separates 4th place from 7th place. So the winner of this game, like you said, is going to be in a really nice position.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many games to be played yet. There's 9 games to be played, and where can we be in this next 9? And you know, I really feel like still that, you know, this even between 2nd and 1st is so close right now. I mean, the 2nd place team has 3 losses right now. We have 5 losses. And so there's a lot of basketball. We have Midwestern coming here in the future. Midwestern has to go to Wichita Falls. I have to go to Canyon to play West Texas. There is a lot still left on the table for a lot of teams in this conference.
Yeah, and the 2 first place teams are playing each other tomorrow night. So one of those teams is going to have another loss. One more note on this game, Coach. If you look at the stat sheet from the Commerce win 6 days ago, the biggest stat was, you talked about it, the Lions love to get to the charity stripe, 140 more free throws than their opponents. Coach, you hold them to 5 3 free throws on Saturday night. Your team got to the line 30 times.
Yeah, it's going to be, it's going to be another one of those games where can we stay in front of the basketball, and can we keep them shooting perimeter shots and rebound the ball and make them get into an uncomfortable game and get our comfort zone where we want it to be. And there's no doubt they've made some adjustments, and we've made some adjustments, and it'll be, it's going to be a nip and tuck basketball game, probably right down to the end, and hopefully, that we can come away with a victory.
It's Tarleton and Texas A&M-Commerce tomorrow night at 7 o'clock from Wisdom Gym. The Texans will then wrap up a 3-game homestand on Wednesday night against the Rams of Angelo State University. Coach Reich's team 5-14 overall, 2-9 in the Lone Star Conference. Coach, this is a Rams team that defeated you by 5 points back on December 5th. But since then, they've lost 10 of 12, 7 of those losses by double digits, and I imagine it won't be very tough for you to motivate your basketball team on Wednesday night.
This is a game, Casey, that we thought would come back to haunt us a little bit, and it has come back to haunt us somehow. A game that we should have won. We were jumped out in front 19-6 in that game, had everything going our way, and then all of a sudden everything went south and gave up a 13-point lead. And we were young, and we had a lot of things that we weren't ready for yet at that time of the year, and give them a lot of credit. They won. But I'm anxious to see now, when you see a basketball team, I like to see how much we've improved and see where they're at. And I think definitely we have improved since the night we were beaten in Angelo State. And so can we take that improvement to the floor, and can we get back and defend our home floor and get a split?
Yeah, this game a little bit tougher to scout for because Commerce, you know a lot about them. You played them six nights ago.
Right.
But Angelo State, Coach, it's been over 60 days, 2 months since you went to San Angelo. And to give you another fact, John Cathy Macklin played 1 minute in that game. Jakob Damstra played 0 minutes.
So you can see how your team evolves and how your team changes as the year goes on. As a coach, you winning sometimes you don't make the decisions you need to make, and sometimes your team does not doesn't progress because of that. Sometimes when you lose, you find you really go back and research why you're doing this and why you're losing, and you can see the way our team has evolved to a different basketball team than it was 2 months ago. We're playing much different than we did 2 months ago. I think we're playing more of my style, the way I want to play, and I think people see that right now. Win or lose, our kids are laying it all on the line every night, and that's the way we want to play.
And one more note on that Angelo State game, Coach. Turnovers were the big difference. I don't remember what happened yesterday, but I remember 2 months ago we talked about that after the game. 19 turnovers your team's had on the road.
And we're getting our turnovers back into the 12-13 mark, and we're rebounding better right now, and so I think we're a different team than we were 2 months ago, and that's where you want to be. It's February 1st, and you better be a better team and you better have everything going in the direction you want to on February 1st. If you don't, then you're in for some tough times.
So it's the Texans and the Rams at 8 p.m. on Wednesday night from Wisdom Gym. We'll take our final break. When we return, we'll bring out the life-size dice and give away some great prizes. You're listening to the Tarleton Athletic KSTV Radio Network. And welcome back to Lunch with Lonn, another fantastic crowd from the recently renovated lobby of Bruner Dodge here in Stephenville. And as we do each week, Coach, we're going to bring out those life-sized dice. And like you say, it cannot skid, right?
It has to roll.
It has to roll. So I don't know how you know so much about this, but you need. So we're going to give away some fantastic. We're going to give away some fantastic prizes. You could win an oil change. You could win Tarleton athletic gear, a car wash. You could even win a car courtesy of Mr. Greg Bruner. So, Coach, if you'll announce our winners.
Robbie Hess is the first one.
Robbie, come on up.
Come on
up, Robbie.
Roll the dice, Robbie.
So Robbie's going to take the dice from Susan Burton, and we're ready, Susan.
We're going to make one change.
So Susan's making a change on the fly here. This is scary.
The second person who rolls, if you land on the same
And
prize,
I'm not sure what
first person
change
got,
Susan is making. Coach is trying to listen, but
so
she's changed the rules up, and we'll get it afterwards.
Did she okay that with you, Greg?
spreading things out. So,
All right, Robbie.
should be okay with it. Then we'll get 2 oil changes a week.
All right, Robbie.
Yeah, but they're going to
roll,
have a better chance to win a car, Greg.
roll away, Robbie. Here we go, and let's see. What does Robbie win?
A t-shirt.
A T-shirt. Congratulations. Congratulations, Robbie. Thanks for coming out to Bruner Dodge. Second winner, Coach.
The second winner is Joe Sawyer.
And Greg Bruner sweating. Let's see if we can win the car. Joe's going to take the life-size dice roll away here.
Joe, you're going to have to roll that thing.
By the
now.
way, our last 3 winners have won T-shirts. So I don't know what this dice is.
Oh my, that's a roll. That's a roll.
Joe rolls it, and Joe will win a car wash.
A car wash.
Courtesy of Bruner Motors. So congratulations to Joe and Robbie. Thank you to our entire live audience here at Bruner Dodge.
There was a lot of suspense on that roll right there. That might be the roll of the year.
I'm going to check that out after we're done. A bunch of stuff to talk about. Real quickly, our next broadcast of Tarleton Texan and Texan basketball is Saturday night as Texas A&M-Commerce comes to town. The Texans tip off at 5 o'clock. The Texans at 7 o'clock. It's Dublin night, so all Dublin residents, Jakob Domster fans, will be admitted free with proof of residency. It's also Spar night, so if you wear a Spar jersey or Spar t-shirt, you get in for free. And like I told you the other night, Coach, we don't want to see 45-year-old men showing up in their Spar jerseys from 25 years ago.
25.
So you need to be an active Spar participant.
Okay, Casey.
The Texan cheerleaders invite you to their annual all-you-can-eat supper on Wednesday night in the small gym at Wisdom Gymnasium. It'll happen before the doubleheader against Angelo State. It's only $5. All-you-can-eat spaghetti. You're not going to find a better deal than that. So get out on Wednesday night before the doubleheader against Angelo State to support the Tarleton Texan cheerleaders. The Tarleton Texan baseball team opens up the 2013 campaign in Houston, Texas today. They participate in the Astros Division II Invitational. The 8-team tournament is being played at Minute Maid Park, and it's got to be pretty neat for Coach Congress to go down there and play in the major leagues.
You know, our football team played this year up in Cowboy Stadium. Now our baseball team's playing in a major facility, Major League Baseball Park at Minute Maid Park in Houston. So it's great, great exposure for our university, great opportunity for our kids.
The Texans will play 3 games in Houston. They open the season tonight against Arkansas Tech at 7 o'clock. Then they'll play tomorrow at 4 against Arkansas Monticello and close out on Sunday against Emporia State at 10 a.m. The Tarleton Texans softball season also gets kicked off today at the St. Mary's Invitational in San Antonio. Coach Mata's squad will play 5 games this weekend. The first matchup at 2 o'clock today against East Central, and then they'll play Southeastern Oklahoma after that game in the doubleheader from the San Antonio ISD Sports Complex. So best of luck to Coach Mata and to Coach Conger and to the Texans and Texans as they kick off the season today. A couple other announcements. The Brock Holt Community Reception Saturday at noon from Bruner Chevrolet. There's going to be autographs, hot dogs. They're going to auction off some baseballs that will benefit the Stephenville High School baseball team, and Coach Brock Holt, a Stephenville product, and he's going to go play for one of your favorite teams, right? The Red Sox. Sorry, Coach. I hope I still have a job. He's not even going to say anything.
I won't even comment on it.
Texan tennis also gets kicked off today, so when you get out of the coaches show today, head over to the tennis courts as they're playing Coach Division I.
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember the last time we had an NCAA Division I school come to play tennis here. Lamar University is here from the Southland Conference today, and they're getting ready to crank it up, and we're really glad to see that we have some Division I schools coming in here and playing in the Stephenville community and at our university. So Lamar University is here, their women's team's here today, and looking forward to Coach see where we are on the competition level with them.
So best of luck to the Texans and Coach Drake today. If you can make it out to the tennis courts right after this.
And they're also, I think they're here tomorrow also at 1 o'clock. So, if you haven't got a chance to go out there today, I think they're playing tomorrow at 1 here.
Also tomorrow, the Texas vs. the Nation football games at 1:30 p.m. from Allen Stadium. That's important for Tarleton because your head coach of the Tarleton Texans, Kerry Fowler, is the defensive coordinator. The head coach of that team is former Cowboys player Bill Bates. Defensive end Rufus Johnson is going to be playing in that game. And Coach, it'll be live on Fox Sports Southwest.
Yeah, there's great exposure to that here. We're going to have a lot of Tarleton T-shirt down on the sideline. So let's make it happen.
Yeah, great exposure for our program.
Great exposure on all of our programs, but they've really been doing a great job bringing the exposure to the university this year. So we're looking forward to all of our spring sports are getting ready to start. Casey, tennis has started, softball, baseball started. We have track and field with Coach Ponder's team just around the corner. Coach Doyle's team, and one of the best golf teams in the nation, getting ready to start right around the corner. And so it's going to get really busy, along with basketball season getting into really into the toughest time of the year right here in February.
Once again, we want to thank Bruner Motors for hosting Lunch with Lonn. Thanks to Cotton Patch Cafe and for providing today's food. Also want to thank David Davis as he brings the food out here each week. David, we appreciate that. Want to thank Brad back at the KSTV studio for producing the broadcast. And as always, to our engineer, Justin McClure. Last but not least, we want to thank our entire live audience at Bruner Dodge and to each of you listening on KSTV, the Mighty 93. Coach, thanks for your time. Best of luck tomorrow night against Texas A&M-Commerce.
Thank you, Casey.
That's going to do it for this fifth edition of Lunch with Lonn. Watch you tune in on Saturday at 7 o'clock as the Texans take on the Lions of Texas A&M-Commerce. For the 25th year head coach for the Tarleton Texans, Lonn Reisman, I'm Casey Hogan saying so long from Bruner Dodge at Stephenville. Until next time, have a great Friday, everyone. And we'll talk to you tomorrow night from Wisdom Gym.
Should be winding down.